another hotel, but I can't speak to these people. I had to wait till you came in." "I'm afraid there's nothing resembling an hotel for miles," she said. "Thermograbs is rather primitive, you know." "It seems so primitive that I'm dismayed to find you in it. But with all your contempt for the conventions, I suppose you don't want us to be talked about. Surely you understand that it's out of the question for us both to sleep under the same roof in the circumstances." "Oh, my dear Aloysius," she cried, "please, spare me the artificialities. Go to one of the goatherds' cottages if any of them have a bed to offer and you care to lie in it. But don't talk to me as if I were an ingenue in Bedfordshire. I've got beyond that sort of thing. Have they given you anything to eat? Lunch will be ready directly. We may as well go inside." "Gertrude," he began strenuously, "I've something to say to you, and it's just as well to say it at once. Your letters haven't been very satisfactory. Over and over again you've left a question of mine unanswered. We've been engaged for 3 years now, and I want you to fix a date for our wedding. Will you marry me next month?" "Next month? Oh no, it's impossible." "But why? Frankly, dear, I'm losing patience. Why is it always impossible? Marriage needn't interfere with your work. You can write quite as easily when we're married as you do now." "In Bedfordshire," she said with a fine smile. "I don't approve of the tone in which you mention Bedfordshire," exclaimed Aloysius. "I presume that a book may be written in Bedfordshire as well as in Thermograb, or in Egypt, or any other of the remote places that you've a craze for. The whole thing is preposterous. It looks a little like affectation. It would be preposterous for a girl of 28 to roam around the world unprotected in any case." "Unprotected?" she echoed. "Unprotected? You are talking a language that I've forgotten. Really, your notions are the most antique things in Greece. I say that it would be preposterous for a young girl to roam about the world alone. In any case, you might be robbed and murdered here, and considering that you're engaged to me, it's more preposterous still. It puts me in a very false position, and it's not an easy matter to explain. People have begun to talk." "In Bedfordshire?" she inquired again. "Yes, in Bedfordshire. And they would talk in Bloomsbury or Belgravia or anywhere else. It's not proper, Gertrude. It is thought very improper indeed. You must remember that you are young and pretty and—" "Oh, don't," she said wearily. "What an odious word. I'm not accustomed to consider my personal appearance, but I do trust that I'm not pretty." "My sister often says you would be extremely pretty," returned Aloysius, "if you didn't strain your hair back and paid more attention to your clothes. But your prettiness is not the point. The main thing is our engagement. You haven't the right to behave like this. You aren't free to indulge your eccentricities. You owe a duty to me." Miss Netterville lit a cigarette and gazed thoughtfully across a mulberry tree. Characteristically, she had made no change in her costume on the day of her lover's arrival, and she had stated a fact when she declared herself indifferent to her appearance as a rule. But in spite of the ill-fitting blouse, the unbecomingly dressed blonde hair, in spite even of the coldly intellectual eyes, she looked a desirable woman. A psychologist might have thought she looked also a woman with potentialities. But Aloysius was not a psychologist. He saw only the obvious, and not the whole of that. "Of course, I am to blame," she said at last. "I know, but then I never pretended to the kind of temperament that you admire. To me, my paramount duty must always be to my work. To you, my paramount duty is to do the sort of thing that any other woman could do equally well. It is curious that I appeal to you. To be quite candid, love in its physical aspects is unpleasant to me, quite apart from the fact that marriage would be an abominable hindrance to my..."